So hey guys, today we're going to go over some common tools for Windows. Most of these are very common GUI applications, so let's get started. So our first application here is TCP View, also TCP vCon. So TCP View is a Windows program that'll show you detailed listings of all TCP and UDP endpoints on your system. So it provides a more informative and conveniently presented subset of what the NetStat program would do in your command line. So the TCP View download also includes TCP vCon, which is the command line version with the exact same functionality. So when you start TCP View, it'll enumerate all the active TCP and UDP endpoints, as you can see here. And you can use the toolbar button or menu item to toggle the display of names. So basically order it whichever way you want. And then these are the main information points that it shows you. So by default, TCP View updates every second, but you can go to the options menu and change this rate. The endpoints that change state from one update to the next are highlighted in different colors. So it's not indicated on this picture I have here, but the ones that change state from one to the next are shown in yellow. Those that are removed or deleted are shown in red, and new endpoints that populate are shown in green. So you can see that here some of the states are established. If you want, you can, those are the only endpoints that you can close. So just right click and it should say stop, and then you can just get rid of that endpoint if it's bad.
Oh, why are they blacked out?
Oh, that's just an image I got from like the internet, and I think they just crossed it out. But yours shouldn't have anything crossed out. So I probably should have mentioned this earlier, but let me just explain what TCP and UDP are really quick. So TCP and UDP work with the Internet Protocol, which defines how computers send packets of data to each other. And then both types of endpoints are identified by their IP address of a host together with their port number. All right, so next we have Revo Uninstaller. So this program uninstalls programs and additionally removes any files and Windows registry entries that are left behind by the program's uninstaller or by the Windows uninstall function. So Revo doesn't delete any of the files for you, but it scans everything and identifies anything that you should delete and notifies you about it. So let me demo that really quick. So here you can see I have Revo uninstalled on my desktop. And then all the applications that I have on my laptop are listed right here. And these are the options you have to uninstall. Either click uninstall, or I believe you can right click and click uninstall. So I'm not going to delete anything I have here, but in competition, if you see a program that seems like sketch or something that will be bad to your computer for your computer, just make sure to take a look at it on here or through another way and get rid of it. Okay. So next, let's talk about the Microsoft Baseline Security Analyzer, which is also MBSA. So this is a software tool that helps determine the security of your computer based on Microsoft security recommendations. So MBSA can be used to improve your security management process by analyzing a computer or a group of computers and detecting missing updates and common security misconfigurations that are specific to your computer. So after you run MBSA scan, the tool will provide you with specific suggestions for remediating security vulnerabilities, and the scan can reduce and eliminate possible threats caused by security configuration problems and missing security updates. So from this report, okay, so when you run the scan, it'll show up with a report like this. And on the report, you can see the score, the issue, and the result. The score will be one of these 6 symbols. So the red X means a critical check was failed. The yellow exclamation means that a non-critical check was failed. Green, as usual, means no issue. The blue asterisk means that it's a best practice check if you should include it, I believe. The I just stands for information. So if you hover over it, it'll provide more information about the specific issue. And lastly, we have the exclamation point, which symbolizes security update checks. So adding on to that, there's also a security update summary section that determines which available service packs and security updates for predetermined Microsoft products match the state of your computer. So basically it's specialized for your computer version. If there are any problems here, usually just updating the computer will fix that issue. So any update related issue, just restart your computer or update it, and that should hopefully go away. So if we look a little bit closer at the results, we can see that there are 3 little blue hyperlinks. The first one says what was scanned, so that'll just give you some more details about what that exact scan was looking for. Next, we have result details. So if you click on this, it'll open up a new window such as this. So if I clicked on result details, and that was for the local account password test issue, and then over here, we can see what the exact issue was. So it lists some users, and it says that guest and CSSD user, they both had weak passwords. So we know to fix that issue, we can just go into those specific users and modify their passwords. This specific scan would be helpful in competition because you would go through and and reset each user's password to make sure that it fits all the requirements. But if you just run the scan, here you'll be able to see which exact users need to get a password update, and it's just easier in that way. And then lastly, the last hyperlink is how to correct this. So this will also open up a new window, and it'll give you step-by-step instruction for how to proceed and fix that issue. Lastly, there's also an option to conduct remote scans and check for IIS vulnerabilities, which is the Internet Security Service, something like that. And then there's nothing extra you need to do to get this output. Simply leaving all the settings as default when you run the scan, which I'll show you in a little bit, will let you get this output. So if the IIS service is unavailable or disabled, the scan results will indicate this. So here we can see the IIS is not running on this computer, so it just notifies you of that. So actually, I can't demo this because I think I have the wrong version downloaded on my laptop. But basically, these 3 images and the ones on the previous slides show a pretty good indication of what the program does. So next, let's move on. Yeah, go ahead.
Can you go into presenter mode so it's easier to see?
Oh yeah, sorry. Do you want me to go back to a previous slide or?
Yeah.
Okay. So, yeah, you can just take a quick look at that in case you weren't able to see it earlier. Okay, so moving on to SysHardener 1.5. This is a free Windows OS security application that lets you harden your Windows settings. So with this tool, you can restrict lots of Windows functionalities and secure vulnerable applications. Some really nice things you can do with this are disabling unused Windows services, blocking outbound connections of specific programs through Windows Firewall. And this program includes some smart firewall rules that block outbound connections of commonly hijacked programs so that they can't download remote files or send data anywhere, which is a really nice add-on. So once this tool isolates all the problem areas, all you need to do is click the Apply Selected button at the bottom and to implement all these changes. So if something doesn't work, you have an option to create a restore point. So if you click Apply Selected, you'll get a little pop-up that said, should I create a restore point, yes or no? And then you can just choose whichever option you want. And lastly, you can run this program using command line as well, using these 2 commands. So /apply selected or /restore selected. So as the command suggests, apply selected will complete this action, which just applies all your selected checkboxes, and restore selected will go back to your previous restore point. So in these images, you can see some of the options that this program lets you use. So So these are organized into different categories, such as disable unused Windows services and Windows Firewall. And there's a really long list of these. Let me show you, actually, I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. So in addition to securing the OS, it also has a separate tab that links you to common Windows tools such as Event Viewer and Windows Updates. So everything you saw on this slide is under the Hardened Windows tab. And then System Tools is just a really convenient way to go to your common Windows applications like your System Restore, Registry Editor, Updates I believe is on here, and just easy access is always nice to have. So let me pull up SysHardener. Okay, so we can see the Hardened Windows tab and the System Tools tab. These little icons on the left, so if I hover over this button, it explains that it might create an issue. So I should probably click on that and apply that setting to my laptop. The I is just information. It'll link you to a web page, as you can see there. And so yeah, it shows the different categories, so like user account control, bunch settings, Windows security tweaks, and so on. And there's a lot of stuff on here. Yeah, I'll just scroll through it. Okay. So let's say I want to apply all these settings. So it'll give me the option to create a restore point, like I mentioned earlier. So I'm gonna say no for now, but you can create it. It'll run this really quickly, I believe, and let's see the output. It might take a second. Okay, so it told me that everything went good and you need to always reboot your laptop to implement this. I'm going to say no for now, but that's also another helpful tool to have. So next we have SUMO, which stands for System Updates Manager. And as the name suggests, it's primarily used for system updates. So once you click the check button on this screen, the screen will populate with all your available programs. So at the time I ran this, I only had these 3 programs installed. But then you can, so when I click scan, it would scan all these applications for updates. So since I have check marks next to all of these, that means that they're all updated. But I believe if something isn't updated, there will be like a red X or something like that. If a program doesn't automatically show up on your list, you can click the add button to manually update it. And same goes for remove. If you have something on your list that you don't want, click remove and that won't be included in your scan. So okay, here, let's go to SUMO. So it automatically started checking all the applications once I opened it. And you can see there's a little red exclamation point next to Firefox showing that it does have an update. Another thing is that it shows your company, version, and updates all the information you might need. So overall, the main takeaway from this application is that it's used for automatic updates, anything related to that. Lastly, we have CJWDev, and this has a file permissions reporter that's called NTFS Permissions Reporter. In case you're unfamiliar with what NTFS is, it's sometimes called the New Technology File System, and it's a process that the Windows NT operating system uses for things such as storing, organizing, and finding files on a hard disk efficiently. So going back to what the NTFS Permissions Reporter is, it's a modern user-friendly tool for reporting on directory permissions on your Windows file servers. It lets you quickly see which groups and users have access to which directory and allows you to also export this information to a file. So with this tool, you can see all the group members directly in the report and in either a tree or a table format you can choose. And all the permissions are highlighted in a different color, which is really nice to just skim over and see which users have which permissions. The filtering option also allows you to quickly find rogue permissions or to easily detect directories that have permissions assigned for accounts that no longer exist and let you exclude permissions that you're not interested in. So I believe there's also an option for you to create your own filter based on your own constraints, whatever you're specifically looking for. So let's demo that. Close out of this. Okay, so here you can first what you do is you click on whichever directory you want to check all the permissions for. I'm just going to go with this directory and I'm going to run the report on this. Okay, so that went by really quickly. And as we can see, these are all the users it scanned and what permissions they have on the computer. So it shows all the subfolders as well. So you can take a look at those. And these errors, it just shows any errors I might have encountered when running the scan. But all your main information should be in these two formats. Like I mentioned before, you can have your results in either tree or table format. So whichever one is more convenient for you to look at. Here you can load or export reports. So load report, I believe it's importing. Oh, wait, we can't use that because I have the free version. But export report should export your report to a file. And well, you can also save your information. So overall, these are the main GUI tools in Windows that'll help you make tasks a lot easier. Just a reminder that all the download links to these applications are linked on the PowerPoint. And that's it